my name is Amie, and if you're new here, I am on a journey to find balance as I navigate going from one child to two, managing my mental health and garden, and moving our family to Sweden. If any of that sounds interesting to you, please do like and subscribe. First, I just want to apologise. I've had a bit of a break because I went back to work full-time last week, which was pretty stressful. The first day I had to run back to the house. I had started walking. I was like, no, I just need to go back and give my babies one last cuddle before I go. So I was a bit late on the first day, but it was fine. Yeah, and I find it a bit stressful being away from my kids. And it's not just that, it's that I work all day and then I'm studying Swedish and I'm doing my coaching course, and also we look after our kids. So it feels a little bit like there's no time for me. Now, obviously, I'm doing the worst possible thing in response to that, which is staying up late doom scrolling in what's known as revenge bedtime procrastination. Basically, an attempt to claw back some time for myself. And then it's massively backfired because I'm so tired and irritated, and my eldest has really struggled with the change with me going back to work. And I think as well, it's really hard on him because for 3 days a week, when he goes to nursery, I basically see him 2 hours a day. An hour in the morning and an hour at night. And then on the 2 days that he's with my husband and my youngest, he sees me a little bit more, but I'm still working, so I'm not able to give him the attention that he needs. So then, like, on a Saturday, he'll be really struggling. Yeah. Oh well. I mentioned in the intro that part of this series is following the journey of finding balance as I go from 1 to 2 children. And I've not talked much about it yet because, in all honesty, I don't think I've found it yet. My eldest son is really struggling for it. He was a little bit iffy when my youngest was born. He was only 22 months at the time. He didn't quite have the language to express himself and his needs. But that actually did get a lot better as his language improved. So, like, he hit 2 years, suddenly his language is much better. He can be like, Mummy, put baby in the seat, put baby in the seat, I want cuddle, which was great. But I feel like now at 2.5 years, he's starting to get like an adult emotion centre and adult-sized emotions with a child-sized prefrontal cortex to manage all of that. And without the language to express that, so it comes out in tantrums. And what I will say that it's really hard to gentle parent when you don't have that kind of parenting script from your own childhood. Not that I'm blaming anyone, it's just a fact, I don't. And on top of that, you just don't have the energy, and your child is pressing every button they can because they need attention. So if you don't have the capacity to give attention, they're going to play up even more. You're like, what do I do? I'm going to give a tip later. And just really quickly, I want to clarify, because I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions about what gentle parenting actually is. So gentle parenting is not permissive parenting. It's not going, oh dear child, I can see that you're struggling, and let's let you get your way. No, that's not it. It's acknowledging that they've got an emotion. I can see you're angry right now. I'm going to give you a little bit of space. The boundary's still here, right? You're still not going to get what you want. You still aren't going to use tantrums to get what you want, because that's not going to get you anywhere in the world. So gentle parenting is actually what's known as authoritative parenting, which is the best kind according to this little chart here. I'm going to put a little chart in. And there's a lot of research to back up that kind of parenting. And what that kind of parenting is it's high warmth. So understanding your child, responding appropriately to their emotions, but also high boundaries. Permissive is basically you do whatever you want. There's low expectations. There's not very many rules. You indulge your child in, whatever kind of they want to do. You're accepting. You're very lenient and avoid confrontation. So then when they have tantrums, you're more likely to give in. But then that actually increases the likelihood for tantrums because your kids learn that that's how they get what they want. Then there's uninvolved, just I don't care. There's no expectations. There's few rules. Absent, passive, neglectful, uninterested, and also competing priorities. So, and then on the other side of the scale, we've got authoritarian. It's very much because I said so. There's high expectations, really clear rules, but it's very forceful and autocratic and rigid, and it's based on kind of like a punishment and limited warmth. And that's not helpful for a child either, because they don't have that emotional warmth to protect their heart and to understand their emotions, and so that often leads to a lot of anxiety, where kids just feel like they can never be enough, never be good enough. And the kind of parenting that gentle parenting is, it's based on this authoritative style, which is effectively, let's discuss this. There's high expectations. There's really clear standards and boundaries. Parents are assertive. No, you cannot do that. Please use your gentle hands. We're really clear about what we do want to see. It's a little bit democratic as well. Kids are allowed to argue back and have their own opinions on things. And so, as they get older, if they can give me a good reason why, and it doesn't undermine my reason why not, then maybe, right? So it's a little bit flexible there. It's responsive to their needs. We know that not all boundaries should be enforced in the same way every single time, because we take into account context and nuance. So we're responsive to the child's needs, and it's warm. It's supporting your child to understand their emotions, to respond to them and manage them, and take their responsibility for their own emotions, because the world will not. And to be good people, right? That's what I mean by gentle parenting. I'm not on about permissive parenting or uninvolved parenting. Just because I feel like there's a lot of confusion around that. So yeah, in my mind, I'm like, it is my job to prepare my kids for the real world whilst also protecting their warm heart and sense of self-worth. I don't have to hit my child or punish them to do that. And if I did do that, I would be modelling violence, and I would be modelling that's how you deal with problems, and I don't want to model that. I do have to enforce natural and logical consequences so that they learn that there are consequences. And I give my son boundaries all the time, and of course he fights against it like all 2-year-olds with an insane drive for independence and a love for the word no do at his age. But it's really hard when my cup has run dry to parent like that all the time. And I'm trying to forgive myself when I mess up and just try again the next day. And hopefully, I'll get better with that, a bit more consistent with that. I am really hopeful that from next week, things will be a little bit easier, because I'm condensing my hours at work. So I'm going to be having Mondays off to study in the morning. I'm going to provide a bit of respite for my husband in the afternoon, just because it is a lot with 2 kids after a long weekend. And I'm hoping that by doing that, I'm also going to be filling my son's attention bucket too. So we're going to ease some of that negative attention seeking that has started since I went back to work. I know that so many mums do go back part-time, because in reality there just isn't enough time to do everything, and as the usually lower earning partner, it makes more sense for family finances. I need to go back full time because of a financial situation. So instead we've gone for condensed hours, and we've also hired a cleaner for a couple of hours every couple of weeks to just do the deep clean stuff that we struggle to keep up with. And we're using the money that we're saving on our food shops to do that, because I'm doing a bit of a pantry challenge to try and reduce our food bills. Our food bills were about £400 every month, which to me feels like a lot. You might think that's quite normal, that's fine for a family of 4. But for me it feels like a lot, so I would like to reduce that. So far this month, what are we? We're on the 16th, so it's been a couple of weeks, and we've probably spent about £60, including milk for my youngest and nappies for both. So it feels okay, and that does include the pantry subscription. So yeah, that's how we're trying to find a little bit of balance there. I'm not cleaning as much, so hopefully that'll be a bit easier. But I think what's really important right now is that I give our family a lot of grace in other areas while we transition into a new normal. I'm really enjoying a series on Instagram from I Am Mum Bum, I'll link it below, called the It Doesn't Ducking Matter Society. My phone did autocorrect that as I wrote this on my phone, but I'm kind of not mad because I think there are kids that watch this. But I think there are just so many unhelpful standards that we want to hold ourselves to. But the reality is that as long as my kids are learning to be good people, the rest is just nice to have. Like eating vegetables. We have a rule that our son has to eat at least 2 bites of everything that we put in front of him, just to make sure he gets a good taste of it. Is it enough? Definitely not. But it's the principle that counts, and we try and make it easier. We go, you want a helicopter spoon rise? Sure. You want a bite of grated cheese for every bite of veg you have? Great. Yeah, if it will get it down you, go for it. The other thing that I think helps with me and my husband is we tap out if we're getting overwhelmed. Now, sometimes I can't always identify if I'm getting overwhelmed, and my husband will tap out for me. He'll be like, go, because he can spot it a bit better than I can. We ensure our kids are taken care of. We say to our partner, tag, or we go, your baby, and we wait to hear the other person respond, my baby, and then we just go, get some fresh air, get a cuppa, and that's how we sort of take a bit of respite if we're getting a bit overwhelmed. So all that to say is I'm working on it, and I think it's time to end my bedtime procrastination and get some sleep so that I can be a better mum tomorrow. I'm going to give my son some preemptive, positive attention, and I'm going to tap out if I'm getting overwhelmed, and I'm going to make sure that my needs are met so that I'm not pouring from an empty cup. I'm going to remember that learning to parent is a journey that doesn't come with a roadmap, and I'm going to give myself a bit of grace to just try again. Anyway, that's all from me this week, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey,